What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports, the podcast where we talk sports and other girly things. I am Sam Cardona, and thank you guys so much for listening this week. All right, people. So this week, we don't have a guest this week. I'm kind of excited about that. The way that I prepped my show this week felt like old times from like last year when it was just me, and I feel like this is going to be really fun. I have a lot of fun stories to go over this week. I have a lot of really fun things that we're going to talk about. But obviously, guys, before we get into all that, don't forget to subscribe on all podcasting platforms, wherever it is that you get your podcasts from. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Girl Who Talks Sports. Guys, I feel like I'm doing a lot of thinking about extra content videos, but if you guys have any ideas or suggestions for me in terms of content to put on the YouTube channel, please let me know. I'm open to ideas. My DMs are open on my social media, which leads me to my next point. I have a change in social media. So the Twitter is the same at TGWTS Podcast, the thing it has always been. However, now my Instagram handle is The Girl Who Talks Sports. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I think I wanted to keep it the same as Twitter, but I like that one better. So now you can follow me on Twitter at TGWTS Podcast, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Girl Who Talks Sports. And guys, don't forget, you can follow me on TikTok also at The Girl Who Talks Sports. So those are my new social media handles, which I've kind of put out on my social media so that people know that it's still me. Hello, I'm still The Girl Who Talks Sports, just different handle. Think it's a little bit easier for people to remember. And yeah, so guys, don't forget to follow me there. And like I was saying, DM me if you guys have any suggestions in terms of YouTube videos, storylines, so on and so forth. But yeah, there we go, guys. So also, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all of that good stuff. And on the podcast side of things, please remember to leave a review on the podcast page. It is very, very helpful for me. All right, guys. Wow, I feel like this feels like old times. This really does. This really feels like old times. Before we get into our first storyline of this week's episode, I just want you guys to hear a quick affiliate read from Instacart. Imagine it was possible that local fresh groceries could be delivered right to your front door. You would have so much free time, you could listen to more of The Girl Who Talks Sports. Instacart gives you unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. Better than what those other guys who nickel and dime you do whenever you use their app. Instacart can deliver to your front door in as little as 1 hour. You're not even tied down to one store. You can shop multiple stores, find deals in your area to save some money, and shoppers hand select your items based on your preferences. So don't worry, they'll keep your gentle items like your eggs safe too. To start your 14-day free trial, click the link in the show notes so Instacart knows that you were sent by me, The Girl Who Talks Sports. And this also helps to support our show. Instacart, never step foot in a grocery store again. All right, everybody, let's get into this week's episode. I'm super excited to go over everything that we have planned today. So let's start out with the first thing that we're going to discuss, which is pretty self-explanatory, and it's been in the news. People have been talking about it for a little bit here. DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is fast. I think that is that's just in and of itself the moral of the story here. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for listening. No, I'm just kidding. So DK Metcalf has been in the news recently because he has been talking about possibly qualifying for the Tokyo Olympics. So obviously you can't just decide you're in the Olympics. You have to qualify for it. You need to do other events, things like that. So he was talking about running the 100 meters. And while we will get into the specifics of how fast he did run, which was fast, he didn't make it, which is fine, totally fine, because this is his first go at everything. I mean, I would have been blown away if he actually did make it into the Olympics. But so DK comes in, he's like, yeah, we're gonna do the 100 meters. And if you guys don't know, if you guys don't remember, many no, not even many years ago, it was like 2 years ago, DK Metcalf was literally the guy that I was not fiending over, but he just blew me away in the draft from when he was drafted. And I was so surprised that he dropped as low as he did to the Seahawks. I believe he didn't go to the second round. I really thought he was going to go in the first round. I was very convinced of it. So he had like 1 or 2% body fat, which was like his big thing when he was getting drafted, is like he was all muscle, no fat, and he was 200 something pounds. He is 6'4". Yeah, he's 6'4". No joke. No joke at all. He is a scary, scary man. And we've seen him on the Seahawks with Russell Wilson do some amazing things. One thing in particular, which is probably what sparked off the whole running and being quick thing to begin with, was in the Cardinals game when the Seahawks played the Cardinals. Budda Baker was running the ball down the field after I believe it was an interception, and DK Metcalf ran from behind him and was able to catch up with him. It was absolutely insane. So DK comes out, he runs the 100 meters in 10.37 seconds, which, let's just put this into perspective on the other people that were running in this race. DK came in last place at 10.37 seconds, which is absolutely bonkers. So he comes in last place. This was at the U.S. Track and Field Golden Games and Distance Open in Walnut, California. And to be fair, and he came out there and said it as well. He's like, listen, these guys do this for a living. I'm just putting myself out here right now. I'm just doing what I can. Obviously, I'm not going to be as good as them, but like I give them a lot of props because they are insanely good athletes. So in my brain, I'm like, all right, DK running 10.37. Let's just, do a little bit of math, because while obviously he came in last place, running 100 meters in 10 seconds is very fast. If you guys didn't know, it is. So I'm like, all right, let's compare this to the time that he did at the combine for the 40 meter, right? Obviously, everyone runs 40 meters at the NFL combine when there is one, because apparently we just haven't had a combine in forever. So I looked it up. DK's 40 time was 4.33. And I was like, okay, cool. We will, let's do a little math. I like math. I loved math in high school. Not so much in college. I did not enjoy it as much, but I was like, let me throw a little bit of math in here to find out if he ran at the same rate. Here's a fun math question for you. If DK ran 4.33 seconds for 40 meters, how much would he have ran at that same pace for 100 meters? And I will tell you because I did the math for you. So I was like, okay, 40 times 2 is 80, and double 4.33 is 8.66. So 80 meters obviously is not 100 meters, but half of 40 is 20, which is what we need to get to 100 from 80. So half of 4.33 plus 8.66 is 10.825. So if DK Metcalf ran 100 meters at the time that he ran the 40 meters at the NFL Combine, he would have ran for 10 seconds, 10.825 seconds. And now let's do an obvious comparison of 10.825 to 10.37. DK ran faster in this 100 meter dash than he did at his NFL Combine for the 40 meter dash. So please, stay with me here, people. I know you're here. I know you're still with me. So I just think that this is absolutely insane. The fact that DK, obviously harder workouts, being on an NFL team, doing all of these things, you obviously get better with time. But everyone was so amazed at the fact that this 6'4", 220-something pound guy at the NFL Combine was able to run a 4.33. So he's running 0.5 faster, 0.5 a second faster, which obviously doesn't seem like a lot, but in runner time, I would imagine that is a lot faster. So if he ran, he would have ran extremely fast. I would think, this is exaggerating, but he would have been under 3 seconds if the math is right for the 40 meter, under 4 seconds in the 40 meter at the NFL Combine if he ran at the same pace that he did in the 100 meter. Sorry, this is a lot of numbers, but I am just absolutely blown away by this. I think that this is so crazy. And honestly, people were giving him a lot of props for it. Like, obviously, I know Patrick Mahomes tweeted at him and was like, this is insane. I can't believe he did this. This guy's no joke. This guy is an athlete. This guy is absolutely bonkers fast. So, DK, keep doing you. You know, maybe we don't see you in the Olympics this year, but maybe 4 years from now, DK's running 100 meters. Who's to say? You know, we'll never know. But moral of the story, DK Metcalf is fast. He is one fast guy, and he knows it. And everyone else knows it now. So that NFC West division, Buda Baker, you guys got to watch out because he is scary. Okay, let's move on from my math talk because I feel like I bored you guys a little there with my nerdiness, which is fine. But let's get into our first segment on the show and my favorite segment on the show, Tea Time. Tea Time is my favorite segment on the show because we delve into the hot, steamy gossip of the sports world, and this week, this is the storyline everyone has been talking about this past week. Holy guacamole on a stick, Tim Tebow is a Jacksonville Jaguar. And you might think, well, Sam, the Jacksonville Jaguars just drafted Trevor Lawrence for QB in the first pick of the draft. Well, there you go. Tim Tebow's not going to be a quarterback on this roster. He's going to be a tight end. And this story broke. The original story of him working out for Jacksonville broke on draft day, I believe. And everybody was like, oh my God, Tim Tebow worked out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And everyone was like, oh, wow, that's so crazy. Like, imagine Tebow in the league as a tight end. And then he is on the roster. And you're like, what? And then obviously it was all because Urban Meyer is the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who used to coach Tebow at Florida when they were in college. Or Tebow was in college and Urban Meyer was coaching in college. That is how the connection is there. So it really is about who you know, people. That's how you get back in the mix here. So 6 years. It has been 6 years since Tim Tebow has thrown a football in the National Football League. So this is a pretty big deal. However, for the past 5 years, it's fair to say, you know, he's not in football shape, but he's stayed in athletic shape being in the MLB. Tebow's been on the Mets minor league team for quite some time at this point, and while he has never really made so much of a statement in baseball, you know, obviously everyone remembers Tebow from the NFL. He came in from college, a Heisman winner. He was on the Broncos, started for the Broncos. I think his record was like 9-7 or something, like nothing outstanding, but everyone remembered him because he did the kneel. He had the eye black with the whole Bible verse on it. Then he moved around for a bit, you know, he was on the Jets for a bit. He was on the Patriots for a bit. I actually tweeted this out the other day, is that I used to have a Jets jersey, a Tim Tebow Jets jersey, because I used to love Tebow so much. Like, I don't know what it was about him, but he really, like, I just adored him. So when he got to the Jets, I was like, oh my God, a New York team. Like, I'm all for this. And he didn't start. I remember him being on the bench for quite some time, but my dad bought me a Jets jersey with Tim Tebow's name on the back, and it was too small over time, and I had to donate it. So unfortunately, I don't have it anymore, but God, I wish I did. Even just as like a relic, even as just like something to just hang up. I really wish I never gave that away because I miss it so much. And then he was on the Patriots for a little bit too. And then Tim Tebow obviously faded out. He went into the MLB, or the minors, rather, not the actual major league baseball. But, you know, Tebow has always been kind of around, and then he got married. Now he's going to be a tight end. And I was curious to see, okay, does Jacksonville have a tight end? Like, I can't think of them off the top of my head. And when I looked at their depth chart, they have Chris Manhertz, Luke Farrell, who is a rookie, and Tyler Davis. So it seems like there's no like star tight end on Jacksonville. Is Tebow going to start right now on the Jacksonville depth chart? He's labeled as the number 4 tight end. I doubt that he's going to stay there. I'm really excited for camp, to be quite honest with you. I'm excited to see how Tebow does in camp. I'm excited to see what he can do as a tight end. I recently saw a clip, I believe it was today. I don't know, all the days are meshing together again. That Tebow was like, he was in a trick play with the Broncos, and there was a wildcat play, and he was throwing the ball, and the ball hit him in the face, like he didn't even catch it, and I'm like, oh, Tebow, But I feel like if he tried out to be a tight end, even though Urban Meyer knows Tim, and he's like their buddy, he wouldn't just bring him on the team to be a tight end if he knew he couldn't be at least a decent tight end, right? I feel like that would be really silly. But he's going to, who knows if he's going to start, who knows if he's going to play, we will see. He's definitely also going to fill the role of a mentor, right, for Trevor Lawrence, because even though he's not going to be a designated quarterback in the actual roster, he's got he was a quarterback in the league. And while he didn't have huge success, he did have a winning season technically with a 9-7 record. But Trevor Lawrence doesn't have a veteran on the team. Gardner Minshew is not a veteran, even though he definitely looks like one. But that's another story for another day. I know CJ Beathard was recently signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I have always read his name incorrectly, mostly just because I refuse to believe it's Beathard, but regardless of the fact, this is what Tebow's going to do. Urban knows him. Urban knows how he played in the college. We've seen him play in the NFL. Trevor Lawrence, new team, new city, new place, new job. Tebow's just kind of going to be a solid guy to sit there and be like, hey, this was my experience in the NFL, da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever, and so on and so forth. So the T here is that we really didn't think this was serious until this week when Jacksonville was like, oh yeah, no, wait, we actually do have a brand new tight end, and his name is Timmy Tebow. So that is our tea time for this week. I am very interested to see how Tim Tebow actually performs. I want to see him catch a ball. I really want to see him on the other side of this offense that he's not used to, because I think it's going to be really interesting. I've seen some people really pissed off about this, which is valid. It's totally valid for people to be like, oh, he's taking the job of a young guy like Luke Farrell, who maybe could be a really great tight end, could fill in the spot, but he's not because Tebow's there. I get that. I totally do. But honestly, for me, the one that lives for chaos, the one that lives for tea, the one who lives for the gossip of the world, seeing Tim Tebow in the league again, not in the position that we know him as, and because he's friends with the coach, this whole storyline, even this summer, is going to unravel. By the time the season starts, people are going to be waiting to watch Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and Tim Tebow. The three T's. Holy crap, the three T's of the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Trevor, Travis, and Timmy. There you go. The triple T's. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about this because I could go on and on about Tim Tebow, but that is our tea time for this week. Next on the agenda here is a very interesting story. I just added it in last minute before I started recording because I saw it quickly on Instagram and I was like, oh my god, this is actually kind of cool and I want to talk about this. So, next storyline here is the fact that the Raiders are just absolutely blowing it out of the water in terms of their new stadium. Obviously, we saw Allegiant Stadium last year. There were no fans in it due to the COVID pandemic during the season. And this is, they said we don't want people in this stadium until we can pack it, and which is totally fair. So now what they're doing at Allegiant Stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders, which is very Las Vegas of them, is they're literally adding a nightclub to one of the end zones of the field, which is absolutely crazy. Let me explain it further. So there's going to be one of the end zones. I guess they said it's the north one, which nobody cares about. Nobody knows directions. So, in one of the end zones, there's going to be an 11,000 square foot section with booths and places to sit and all very nightclubby scene with a DJ and all this stuff right there, right next to the end zone. And people have to make reservations to go in here. And when I looked it up, it's literally, when I say nightclub, I'm not just explaining like that's what it looks like. That's what it's going to be. It's going to have like platinum bottle service. You like I said, you have to reserve a spot to be in there. There's going to be DJs, there's going to be TVs, there's going to be all this stuff, and you're going to be next to one of the end zones. And the idea of sitting in a club, turning to like your left or your right or whatever, I don't know my things. I always have to do the L's on my fingers in order to remember things. I'm a mess. Whichever way you end up having to look based on where you're sitting, you're going to look and you're going to see a touchdown by the Las Vegas Raiders or their opponents if that happens. The whole idea of this is like, it makes so much sense for this scene. Like, for Las Vegas, brand new team, $2 billion stadium. Like, I'm not saying million. I am saying with a B, $2 billion was spent to make Allegiant Stadium. And we saw it last year, even without the whole thing with no fans in the stands. There's a giant like torch, which is so cool. And then I believe I've talked about it on one of my episodes where the grass, it's in a dome, but the grass is real, and the grass rolls out of the stadium outside into the sunlight where they water it, and it gets sunlight, and it's like real grass, and then they roll it back into the stadium. Like, this is no joke. This stadium is so high-tech. Now the fact that they just added in Las Vegas a nightclub to this, like, imagine Sunday Night Football. If the Raiders are playing Sunday Night Football, I don't know. This is coming out Wednesday. The scheduling comes out tonight. I'll probably talk about it a bit on my Instagram or my Twitter, so make sure that you check out for that, because obviously I'm recording on Tuesday, so the schedules aren't out yet. But imagine the Raiders are like Monday or even Monday Night Football, whatever prime time football Raiders are in, and they're like, hey man, I have an extra ticket to the Raiders game. Do you want to come? And they're like, nah, I really want to go out and party on a Sunday night. And they're like, oh no, I got reservations to the nightclub part of Allegiant Stadium. Like, we are going to party at this football game. Like, it just sounds insane. And I really would love to experience it. Like, not even to like just party and just get like wasted or whatever at a football game. Like, this is no joke. This is a platinum service. A person's going to come over with bottle service and like all this stuff while you're watching a football game. Just absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. It is blowing my mind, and I had to talk about it. Also, I'm excited to see Allegiant Stadium with fans in it, and I'm sure Raiders fans are going to be really excited to see their team, in action, their new team, because, the Raiders, this was supposed to be like such a big deal. The Raiders moving to Vegas, and they just couldn't do it anymore because of COVID. So, and the draft being in Vegas next year too, which, I'm going to keep talking about it until next April, because, like, I want to go. I want to go to the draft next year. I want to go to Vegas. I want to experience the NFL draft in a crazy place like Las Vegas. So I'm getting off topic. Anyway, that's what the Raiders Stadium is doing. Super, super excited. When it actually opens up, I'd love to, like, see people's experiences from it, and we will definitely circle back if there's, like, actual people, like, videos or something that come out about it, because I'm super intrigued. Okay. Oh my goodness, I have not I haven't done, like, this full episode in so long, and I am, like, I'm, like, out of breath, because I'm, like, so excited about talking about things, and not having a guest on is a really big difference for me. Anyway, let's get into our next segment on the show, which is our Let's Talk About It segment. And in our Let's Talk About It segment, we are going to talk about Gritty. If you guys don't know who Gritty is, Gritty is the Philadelphia Flyers mascot. He is that weird Muppet-looking thing. He's orange with big googly eyes. And what I want to talk about him is because he's probably the best mascot in all of sports. And obviously, being from New York, I am not in any way a fan of Philly sports whatsoever. I follow Gritty on Twitter. Gritty has his own Twitter, which is one thing that is just incredible. But the things that Gritty does is just really absolutely incredible. And what sparked this whole thing was I saw the series of tweets and photos that I was like, I have to talk about this. So Gritty, which if you would like to follow him on Twitter, it is Gritty NHL. He tweeted out, "Now's your chance, Grittisons. I want to make your dreams come true. What would you like to see me do? Editor's note, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't." And obviously a lot of people responded to it because Gritty is so fun and we love to see him. And which one that caught my eye was the one that Gritty responded to and did something for, which was this guy, Matt Hayes, who quoted that tweet that Gritty put out and said, "Call my crush and tell her I screwed up and I really like her. Except you can't talk, so you're just going to make it worse anyway. Never mind." Obviously thinking it was just going to be like a funny tweet. Didn't know if Gritty was actually going to see it, which is fair. But Gritty did see it, and Gritty did something about it. So in a next series of tweets, which also in these photos, which if you're watching on the YouTube video, I'll throw the photos in there so that you can see them. Gritty is wearing a face shield. He is wearing, this is a mascot who cannot, the person inside with Gritty, obviously, can contract COVID-19, but Gritty himself is wearing a face shield, and I absolutely adore it, because it's got, in like the strap that goes above your forehead, it's got little Gritty eyes on it, and you'll see it when you see the pictures. So, and also if you're listening on the podcast and you want to see it, just go on Gritty's Twitter, because it's there. So, he puts this series of him holding up postcards, because Gritty can't talk, because he's a mascot. So it says, "Dear Matt's crush," oh boy, "Matt really likes you. Please give him a chance." And you're like, oh wow, that's so nice. Next photo, though. "I can't vouch for Matt. Personally, I wouldn't trust him. And I don't think you should either." Next photo says, "IDK what he did to screw up, but it sounds bad. No more second chances." And the last photo says, "You should get out while you still can. Love, Gritty, XOXO." Oh no, sorry, it's not XOs, it's number 00, because that's his number on his jersey. When I saw this, I went, oh my god, not only did this kid just tweet on Twitter thinking it was just going to be funny, thinking it was just going to be cute that he replied to Gritty and like whatever, but Gritty just violated him. And I want to say like on national television, but it wasn't. It was like on national internet, because like, wait, let me see how many followers Gritty has, because I'm intrigued to see. Hold on, let me pull him up. Gritty NHL has 388,300 subscribers. I mean, it's not subscribers, followers on Twitter. And it's just insane. It's just so insane that he did that. And this kid really was like, oh yeah, no biggie. And like, no, Gritty just exposed you to almost 400,000 people. So, sir, you will never get another date ever again. And you can literally blame a giant orange Muppet who roots for the Flyers. This is just... I love this mascot, though, because this isn't the only thing he's done. The second that they said Gritty was going to be, like, this new mascot in the NHL, which obviously, as many of you know, if you've been following this podcast for a while, I do not do hockey. I wish I did, but I cannot get into it. I do not report on hockey, like, ever. So, talking about Gritty, like, the fact that I follow him should just show you that people who aren't even, Flyers fans or NHL fans like Gritty because he's so weird. And I just had to talk about him because he's just perfection, and everything he does is fantastic. He doesn't do anything wrong. He is perfect, outstanding, beautiful. He reminds me, this is a bit of a niche thing. Obviously, I'm from New York. I'm from Staten Island. There was a minor league team, which no longer exists anymore, called the Staten Island Yankees. And the Staten Island Yankees had Scooter, the holy cow. And he was a cow who had a halo on, and his name was Scooter. And he was the Staten Island Yankees mascot, and it was the same vibes. Same vibes. He would, like, push kids on the ground and, like, not give a crap. Like, kids would race him into things, and he'd cheat and, like, all this stuff, and he just didn't care. And I was like, oh my god, Scooter is my favorite thing. And I think that's why I love Gritty so much. Is that Gritty reminds me of Scooter the Holy Cow. because, oh, just amazing, fantastic, beautiful, spectacular, never been done before, whatever that whole Lady Gaga video is. But anyway, I had to talk about Gritty. I hope that you guys don't think I'm like super weird because of it, but I really don't care, honestly. Gritty is spectacular and hands down the best mascot in sports. Which you also, Philadelphia, now that I'm thinking about it, they also, like, the Phillies, the baseball team has that weird green Muppet thing, which I don't know its name. I guess we can look him up too, but why does Philadelphia have so many weird mascots? Mascot. Philly. What's his name? Philly Fanatic. Okay. I mean, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, like, he's this big green thing, and he's a Phillies fan. I just, like, there's so many weird things in the world, so many weird mascots, but I really gotta say, Gritty takes the cake for me. Gritty is the best mascot in the world. All right, let's move on. Let's move on and do our next segment on the show, which is usually like a 1-second thing. I usually do this and then it's over, but our tweet of the week. Our tweet of the week this week, I have several things to discuss about tweet of the week. Another, you could say it's a tweet of the week plus a second tweet of the week plus a let's talk about it. I have so many emotions, to be honest with you. So first things first, I'm going to give you our original tweet of the week, just our regular tweet of the week, which goes to Charlotte Wilder, who has been our tweet of the week many times in the past. She's one of my favorite sports personalities, reporters, everything. She works for Fox Sports now. She used to work for Sports Illustrated. Her and Jessica Smetana used to have this podcast that I was absolutely in love with called Most Valuable Podcast. It was just perfect, and I love her so much, and she puts out stellar tweets every single week. But this week, it's a Tim Tebow tweet, and that is our tweet of the week this week, which is, Tim Tebow is proof that if you're Tim Tebow and you follow your dreams, you'll end up as a tight end in the NFL after spending a few years in the Mets farm system after failing as a quarterback for the Broncos after winning the Heisman. And if that is not just exactly how my brain racked my mind around the Tim Tebow thing, I don't know what is. She really just completely puts everything together for me. And I really, shout out to Charlotte. She is fantastic. So that is our tweet of the week this week. However, I have a honorable mention, which if Charlotte actually is listening, which would be absolutely insane to me, it has to do with Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is, Charlotte's is a Boston fan for everything, which is why I wanted to mention her as well. But so the thing is, Tom Brady, and I've said this before, who's also been on our tweet of the week in the past, Tom Brady, for his age and everything, is too good at Twitter. And I am upset at how good he is at Twitter because I have grown up disliking Tom Brady for a very long time. And now that he's a Florida man and in Tampa Bay, and it's just proof that he is just the best quarterback or football player basically of all time, I feel like I can't hate him anymore, which really hurts me, and that I follow him on Twitter now, and he is just so good at Twitter. So, the reason why I say that is because Jason Yanowitz posted a tweet that said, "Rumor has it Tom Brady is loading up on Bitcoin. Retweet if you think the GOAT should turn on laser eyes. Let's make it happen." And he took Tom Brady's original Twitter avatar, which is a very good picture of Tom Brady, as I must say, and added, edited red laser eyes on top of it, because, Bitcoin, which I don't understand. Bitcoin is a whole thing that I just don't get whatsoever. And just did it. And Tom Brady then quoted that tweet and said, should I change it? And let me tell you, oh my God, the second I saw him do that, I was like, he's going to change his Twitter avatar to be scary laser eyes Tom Brady, and he's going to win Twitter. He's just going to win it. I don't know how you win a social media app, but Tom Brady now owns Twitter at this point. It's just insane. And then I'm like, oh my God. And I quoted the tweet and I said, God, yes. Like in my brain, I was like, please, Tom, please, for humanity, change your Twitter avatar to you with red eyes. And this guy freaking did it. Tom Brady did it. And now his Twitter avatar currently, right at this very moment, is him, which is just the regular picture of him like leaning up against the wall with his arms crossed with red laser eyes. And he tweeted it, and he put it as his thing, and then he tweeted it out with hashtag new profile pic. Like, are you serious, Tom? I'm upset. I'm really upset with how good this man is at Twitter. I'm just sitting here, I'm just staring at it. I can't stop looking at it. He is just... Tom Brady, excellent football player, even better tweeter. It bothers me to no end, but here we are. So those are our tweets of the week. They're just a multitude of things. If you guys haven't found out at this point yet in, my many years at this point of podcasting, which is so weird to think about. Holy cow. At the end of this year, I'll be like I'll have finished my third year of podcasting. Here we go. Okay, I can't get into that mindset. So, after many years of podcasting and such, you guys know that I'm just like obsessed with Twitter. I've loved Twitter. I made a Twitter when I was like a sophomore in high school, like as a joke. And that was like, I don't know, like 2012. And it had been out for a few years, but I was like, this is so dumb. This is such a dumb app. And I left it for a few months, and then I came back to it and just fully just like went cannonball into it, and I haven't been out yet since. So that's our tweet of the week this week. Thank you, Charlotte, for your beautiful tweets. Thank you, Thomas, Edward, Patrick Brady, for your beautiful tweets. And guys, I feel like this is a really, really, really fast show this week. I guess I'm so used to it being longer with the guest interviews, but nonetheless, we're going to finish up our show. We have our feel-good story of the week, which, let me tell you, is a feel-good story. Holy cow. Now I can't stop saying holy cow because I'm thinking of Scooter the Holy Cow of the Staten Island Yankees. But regardless, irrelevant of the fact, our feel-good story this week is it's almost surreal how crazy cool this story is. But let me just tell you, it's a little bit longer than some of our other feel-good stories. But, so, I actually don't really remember this guy. He is a retired NFL player. His name is Brandon Bair. He used to play for the Raiders and the Eagles. Personally, I don't remember him, but he is a retired NFL player, which is why it fits into our podcast as to why this is the feel-good story. So, Brandon Bair was driving to work, which I don't know what he does for a living now that he doesn't play football. He's driving to work, and he sees a semi-truck collide with a train, like not just another car, a train, and burst into flames. Like immediate impact, blow up, crazy action movie scene. Brandon Bair is like, oh my God, gets on 911, tells them the situation, starts driving over to the explosion, to this semi-tractor trailer that just went into this train. And he sees that the guy who was driving the tractor trailer is inside the truck, and he is talking, so he knows he's alive. Bair straight up gets out of his car, sees the guy in the truck, sees that his seatbelt's still on, crawls into the thing. But mind you, the tractor trailer is in flames. The tractor trailer is up in flames at this point in time. So he literally crawls into the fire, gets this guy out of his seatbelt, and the guy comes out, and then Bair pulls him out of the tractor trailer, and they like scoot away, and the thing goes poof, poof, poof. More explosions. This guy straight up would have died if Brandon Bair wasn't there to save him. And just imagine, like, I'm not exaggerating this story. I'm not. I literally read it. I mean, maybe they exaggerated a bit on the article that I read, but it sounds like this is, they didn't exaggerate the fact that things were up in flames and this guy and Brandon Bair saved this man's life. Straight up pulls him out, the thing explodes, and he's like, yeah, I just really felt like this guy this was not his time. He was not going to die today, so I had to save him. And I was like, now, if that doesn't pull your heartstring, like, I literally don't know what will. I don't know if anything will top this feel-good story, like, ever, because it sounds like something out of a movie, to be honest with you. It sounds like something just straight up would have been, like, in a movie that's, like, in a small town, the man's just driving to work and just explosions. Big arson budget in this movie. And it just blew my mind. And I mean, he's a hero. If that's not heroic, like, I don't know what is. It just reminds me of the John Mulaney thing. If you guys don't know John Mulaney, please, just please watch him. He is one of my favorite comedians of all time, which we also just found out that he's getting a divorce from his wife. But that is, regardless of the fact, I can't get into that because my emotions will plummet. John Mulaney talks about the New York Post. Now he's like, people doing their jobs are heroes. And they're like, hero fireman saves toddler from building. And it's like, no, like, yes, obviously it's very heroic, but that's also his job. Like, this guy was driving to his other job, which I don't even know what Brandon Bair does for a living, and just straight up crawled into a tractor trailer that was on fire to save some guy that he didn't know. So, everybody, that is our feel-good story of the week. I hope that makes you feel just like maybe, if not helping a person out this week, just like giving someone a smile that they absolutely might need that you don't know if they need or not. Just be nice to people. You don't have to crawl into trucks that are on fire and save a person in order to be a good person. I mean, you really can just literally say hello to someone at the store, which, here in New York City is not really a thing that people do. But if people are nice to me, I'm nice to them back. I just don't really do it firsthand. But if someone's like, hi, then I'll go, hi. Like, it's a good thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. So be nice. Do something nice for someone today, and with the minimum, just smile at someone. It's always beneficial, I promise. So everybody, short episode this week, but that is our full episode of The Girl Who Talks Sports this week. Guys, thank you so much for listening to my rants. I haven't done this in quite some time. I know a couple weeks ago I had a no guest thing, but it was just a mock draft. It wasn't a full podcast like I usually did. A week before the Super Bowl, I also didn't have a guest, but otherwise I've been having guests every single week, and it's kind of fun just to grab the podcast by the horns here and do it yourself for a little bit. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all so very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to us on all podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you get your podcasts from. And please leave a review. That is very helpful for me. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Girl Who Talks Sports. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, click the little bell to get notifications turned on so that you guys get updated every single time I upload a new video. And don't forget to follow us on our new social media handles. Same Twitter at TGWTS Podcast, different Instagram at The Girl Who Talks Sports. And what's the other one? TikTok, which I'm still trying to figure out. TikTok is also at The Girl Who Talks Sports. I'm really trying. I really want to do TikTok well because it's very fun. And that is it for this week. No other announcements or anything. Guys, I hope you all have a fun, fantastic, sports-filled day, and I will see you guys all next week. Bye!